All right, Jimbo Fisher's out of a job. Let's talk about it. If you're brand new here, welcome on into the channel. My name is Cole Thompson. I'm a radio show host based in Houston, and I talk college football daily. I talk NFL, MLB, NHL, NBA, but I love talking college football. And if this is the type of content you enjoy, my friends, this is the channel made for you. So hit the subscribe button down below. Leave a comment telling me your thoughts on the Jimbo Fisher firing, who you would like to see in College Station for 2024. Tell your friends, your family, your sister, your brother, the drunk guy passed out in a Publix parking lot, all about this channel. And as always, let's continue to talk college football. So Jimbo Fisher, according to multiple reports, and it hasn't been confirmed by the university, but those in the know do have a clear understanding. And I've talked to some people who have a better sense of the situation going on than I do. Jimbo Fisher is out of a job following last night's 51-10 win against Mississippi State. 6 years into his tenure, he'll finish his time in College Station with a 45-25 overall record, 27-21 in conference play. There's no indication on who's going to take over for the remainder of the year. There's going to be a lot of hot names that are going to be mentioned for this job because of what the resources are, where we can go ahead and look at what Texas A&M views itself with the recruiting style, with the future of the SEC. And I'll do a separate video of that probably later tonight. But let's just talk about how we got here. It's very simple. Expectations, false reality. That's what this really comes down to. Jimbo Fisher was hired away from Florida State in 2017 by Scott Woodward because of A&M wanted to view itself as a legitimate contender in the SEC. They didn't want to be known as the little brother of Texas. They didn't want to be known as that other roster in the college football lore. They didn't want to be known as a team that just kind of hung around middle tier in the SEC. They wanted to be like the Lone Star State, big, bold, and brash. They wanted to make sure they were in the running for every single scenario possible. SEC West Division titles, conference championships, college football playoff aspirations, national titles. And the thing is that A&M has the money and the resources to do so, despite not being a program that's won a national title since 1939. They have everything at their disposal, from recruiting assets to practice facilities to stadium renovations to top-tier recruiting analysts to all of the shenanigans around the program. And so when Fisher was hired, he was expected to be that last piece de resistance to take you over the top. And there were moments throughout his early tenure where you could say, yes, A&M was trending upward. They got a win over Les Miles and over LSU in 2018 to punch their ticket to, at Orgeron, my bad. At Orgeron, my bad. They got that win 7 overtimes in 2018. In 2019, they didn't do much, but they felt like they were trending at least somewhere on the recruiting trail. And then in 2020, they went 9-1 during the regular season, and they won the Orange Bowl. So things were looking promising. But after a while, you have to realize that results and expectations have to correlate. And if they don't, all you're doing is wasting everyone else's time, and you're not able to go ahead and fortify your strengths and your assets. And that's kind of where Texas A&M was. They have the money, they have the resources, they had the recruits, they had the players, they had the personnel. They made necessary changes to the roster and to the staff, and the same results were happening. And the hard part was, Jimbo Fisher said last night following the win over Mississippi State, they're 3 or 4 plays away from being a college football playoff contender. They are. I mean, if you really want me to be completely honest, they are. And I'm not saying that that's because of only bad execution on the field, but you look, they nearly won against Ole Miss last week. A blocked field goal was the difference between that game. They nearly won in Knoxville, Tennessee against the Volunteers. If they don't give up that punt return for a touchdown, and if Max Johnson doesn't throw an interception in the fourth quarter, they probably leave Neyland Stadium with a win. And they've gone toe-to-toe with Alabama the last 3 years. Alabama's toughest game the last 3 seasons has been against either Texas or Texas A&M. They lost by 6 points this past year. They lost by 4 points the year prior, and they won in College Station 41-38 in 2021. So they've had success, but they've right there until they're not. And that is where the problem lies. At some point, you have to realize that just because if you have the personnel, just because if you have the players, just because you have the coaching staff, If the on-field execution doesn't get the job done, well, then that's where you reside. Caught in the middle ground, nowhere in sight of what your ultimate goal is, nowhere near where the aspirations are set to be. And fans got tired of it. And I think the boosters got tired of it. And I think that Ross Bjork doesn't want to make a hard decision like this because of, yes, it's $76 million for the head coach. That's one thing. People are starting to figure out as well. It's also $150 million potentially to buy out the entire coaching staff. That's $150 million to get rid of a staff and then bring in a brand new staff where your expectations are not changing. The SEC is getting tougher, but the opportunities for you to make the college football playoff are getting better. You're adding in Texas and Oklahoma, but you're also adding in 8 new spots to potentially compete for a national title in 2024. The goals are not changing in College Station anytime soon. And so when you go out and you make the next hire, you have to guarantee that the guy that's coming in is not only a great culture builder, he's not only a great recruiter, he knows how to build a staff in his image, and more specifically, he also knows what the preseason goals are and what the reality expectations will be. That's where you are. Because for Jimbo Fisher, this was like marrying a billionaire and kind of not signing a prenup, or maybe you were signing a prenup for all I know. But $76 million doesn't grow on trees, and A&M, knowing what's at stake with the future of the SEC, with the future of their program, is still willing to make this move because they're probably going to finish either 7-5 or 8-4, depending on what happens in games against Abilene Christian next weekend. And then, of course, LSU on the road in Baton Rouge. That's where Texas A&M lies this morning. There's going to be some hot names that are mentioned. For me, there's 3 things I'm looking for. Number 1, how are you able to build a culture? Because the last thing that you want to have is a bunch of top-tier players that don't know how to play together. We see this in baseball all the time, where you'll watch a GM go out and he'll sign the shortstop to $250 million and a third baseman to a $175 million deal and an outfielder to $250 million and 2 starting pitchers for $85 to $100 million. And yeah, it's good on paper because you have a lot of highlight names that are going to put fans in the stands. But do they play together as a team? Do they play together as a roster? Or are they just a bunch of individuals playing a team sport? That's kind of where you reside right now when it comes to this. Number 2, can you recruit? Because if not only are you going to have to build against Texas in your own state, you got Oklahoma, they got a damn good recruiter in Brent Venables. You still have Nick Saban residing in Tuscaloosa. Kirby Smart's not leaving Athens, Georgia anytime soon. LSU sells itself because of its LSU. Florida, I think, is going to be fine when it comes to the recruiting trail. Billy Napier will get 1 more year at least to figure that out. Not to mention other teams on the rise. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, there is a legit shot they go 10-2 this year. And 10 regular season wins in Oxford only happened once, and it happened underneath Lane. So don't think for a second that he's not going to be able to bring in at least the right recruits and the right transfers. Countless others too. So how can you recruit? How can you sell yourself? Because that's the main thing. It's not just about selling the program. It's about selling yourself to the fans and selling yourself to the players. What makes Texas A&M one of those programs that you want to hitch your wagon to, strap up on Saturdays and be ready to lay down the hammer? And number 3, can you win? That's really what this comes down to. Can you hold your own against other coaches in the SEC to where 10 wins is plausible, where 11 wins is plausible, where making the SEC championship is on the radar, where a college football playoff berth is imminent? That's the main thing. And I'm not really sure that you need to go out and get a guy that comes from the Power 5 top tier rankings. You don't need to go to one of the premier schools. You need to get a guy that's built in the culture. You need to get a guy who has seen the hard times, has been through the struggles, and probably gone out of his way to make sure that he's done his part to fix the flaws with this team. This was a move that was always going to happen. And I think that if you look back and listen to a lot of people, everyone kind of understood what was happening. It's not that Jimbo Fisher wasn't going to be let go this year. It was, what was the point of bringing him back for another year if 8-4 is the best you can be? At some point, you have to rip off the harsh Band-Aid and accept the reality that you swung and miss. It's kind of what this is right now. A&M thought that Jimbo Fisher would be the guy to bring them to relevancy. And he did on the recruiting trail, and he did with the facilities, and he did with the coaching staff, and he did with all these other avenues. But at the end of the day, what this comes down to is being able to build on all three stages. A&M has the talent. A&M has the resources. A&M did not have the right coach leading the charge. And ultimately, here we are on a Sunday morning, now wondering what happens next in College Station. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.